But the good news in this war in Gaza, but also a real danger for Israel, a new one. Hamas, the terrorist group which runs Gaza, has agreed to release about 50 of the 240 hostages that it took from Israel in its October 7 attack, including, of course, dozens of children as young as 10 months old. It's going to release, in exchange, Hamas will release 50 women and children over a 4-day truce in exchange for Israel releasing 150 Palestinian prisoners. And it's also going to send, Israel will also send more food and fuel to Gaza. But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says after those 4 days, the war continues.
Outside, there is a lot of nonsense talk, as if after we cease fire for the release of the hostages, we will stop the war. So I would like to clarify, we are at war and we will continue to fight until we reach all our goals. We will not let go until we reach the absolute victory and until we bring them all back.
Joining me from Tel Aviv is Lieutenant Colonel Peter Berner from the Israel Defence Force. Lieutenant Colonel, thank you very much for your time again. Which hostages are Hamas releasing and which prisoners are you releasing in exchange?
Thanks, Adam. Yes, indeed, the situation is one that is going to be determined by the government of Israel and, I guess, the terrorist government of Hamas. The reports that are suggesting some 50 women and children that would be released. We have yet to see, and of course we need to be very skeptical with anything Hamas says. From our position, of course, when we look at the disparity, we need to keep in mind that those that are being released by Hamas, or those that are supposed to be released by Hamas, are innocent civilians, women, men, and children. This is the reality where we will be releasing convicted terrorists. This is the way up of what we are facing currently.
That's amazing. So they're releasing innocents, you're releasing terrorists and criminals. And I noticed the scale too, where apparently for Hamas, 1 Jew is worth 3 Palestinians by their calculus. Says something about their values. When is this exchange going to happen?
So, this war effort from our perspective has always had 2 goals, and they operate and they are hand in hand. First of all, dismantling and destroying Hamas as a terrorist government of the Gaza Strip to make sure that they can never have the power to govern the Gaza Strip as a terrorist organization. And secondly, the release and the rescue of the hostages. There is currently a process that is taking place here in Israel. There is the civil discourse and a judicial process that people will, if they object to the agreement, will have their day in court and they'll be able to present their case. Once that is cleared, either way, the IDF will be instructed to have an operational pause and hold our fire in order to enable the hostages to be released and to enable humanitarian aid in order to access in a broader scope to the Gaza Strip, to the people of Gaza, specifically in the south of Gaza. So it'll be determined basically on the process that needs to go through our civilian arena, which is an important process in our democracy. It means that everybody has their day in court and everybody can present their problems that the government, with whatever the government is presenting. Our role as the IDF is to be prepared on the ground for any eventuality. I can say that today we're still fighting, we're still engaging Hamas, even this morning, and we're making sure that they have less and less terrorists and less places to operate from freely. There is no ceasefire yet, there is no hold on our force, and we continue to fight and destroy Hamas every single day, as we have for the last 6.5 weeks.
But Lieutenant Colonel Berner, I mean, in some ways, the 2 goals are in conflict, releasing the hostages and also fighting and keeping your soldiers as safe as possible in the conflict. What can't Israeli soldiers who are now in Gaza do during the 4 days of the ceasefire? I mean, for one, you can't even use drones to check where the hostages are being held and are being released from. What else can't you do?
So it's not what we can't do, it's what we can do. We can regroup, we can be prepared, we can maintain defensive capabilities. And of course, we won't take any aggression against us as a hold and pause in our operations takes place. You presented Prime Minister Netanyahu's words We are determined to destroy Hamas and negate their capabilities. And this is just a pause. And in a pause, we will be regrouping, repreparing, refueling, taking a defensive outlet and posture in order to be prepared for the next stages.
But here's the problem, of course, you're saying you're regrouping, Hamas will be regrouping. They're the ones that actually wanted, desperate for this pause. So they think they can make it to their advantage. Now, your Prime Minister has said that this truce, this 4-day truce, could be extended for 1 day for every 10 extra hostages Hamas releases. Given how many they've got, this pause could theoretically, it's not going to do that, but theoretically last for 6 months. How many days of the truce before your soldiers sitting in Gaza today, having to do this ceasefire in the meantime, are in too much danger from a Hamas counterattack? How long can you just sit there?
So we've experienced Hamas in ceasefires in the past. In 2014, we know what they have done in 2014. They came out of tunnels, attacked our forces. So we obviously will have to be very, very strong in our defensive, but also maintain our operational superiority. And that is a reality that exists. This is why we have killed hundreds of their terrorists, several thousands actually of their terrorists on the ground. And we will maintain our operational capability in order to achieve our goals, Adam. This isn't a war we wanted, but it's a war we have no choice but to defeat.
Well, it's a danger your troops are being forced to undertake for the release of the hostages. Let's hope it all works out.
But it is the role of the soldiers to defend. Adam, it's the role of the soldiers to defend the people. It is, this is the role of the IDF. We put ourselves in that line of fire. We put ourselves at the mercy for the people, and this is, we're not sacrificing ourselves. We have a very strong sense of calling, precisely because that is our role. That is the job. That is, with 300,000 reservists called up, the largest recruitment of reservists in the history of the state of Israel.
Yep.
It just goes to show that we have.
It's been an amazing response. Been an amazing response from Jews all around the world. I saw the exit line at Ben Gurion Airport, a photo today, empty. No one's leaving, everyone's coming. Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner, thank you so much for your time.